And here we are again, live. Right, and here we are again, okay. Live. Right, yes, as you can see from the description, lost my train of thought there for a minute. We're going to be continuing with this guy. There's a little bit of painting left to do on the bodywork, mainly around the cab windows. Forgot to do them last week. And one coat of the Humbrol paint seems to have been fine for the whistle and the dome. The numbers are fine. They're still on. His face is going to be a little bit cleaned up. I'll use some nail varnish remover or something for that. And if the detailing comes off, I'll just repaint that on. And then it's ready for its lacquer coat. But tonight, we're going to be concentrating once again on the chassis. Well, there's the chassis. There's the running board. Now, you may remember when I first did this, I made a point of marking the front and back of the chassis so I know which end was which. And to get a rough idea of where it would be and what work I would actually need on it. Now, looking at it, I've had a chance to look at this again. Depending on where the bodywork goes, I'll have to take out that bit there to give room for Percy's wheels. On the front, no, hold on. Let's see if I get the front and back lined up properly to the right sides. Which would be there and there. There and there. But I've since been looking at it. It's been sat on my desk all this time. Now, the way I always have it is so that the rear of the cab has got a little bit of a lip. Typical. Like that there. See, there's the edge. And then at the front, because I could use this one now as a marker, put the wheels back on. Right way up would also help. Front, back, boopity. And where the springs are on the side of Percy, mark the centre on both sides. Once you've got it in the position that you want it in. Because as you can see from that view, the front wheels are way forward of the springs, whereas the centre of the wheel should be in line with the centre of the springs. as a consequence, the back wheels are also going to have to move forward a bit. So his wheel spacing is going to get a bit smaller than what it is now. But now that I've got the main measurements on here, and the measurements to work to from here, I'm going to cut out another running plate so that I can do the buffers and the buffer beam properly this time. Yes, I'll do that. I was going to try and have all this done before coming on the live tonight, but as we all know, life's a roller coaster, and other things have had to take precedence. So I'm going to try something a little bit different tonight. Well, not different. Because I'm never always 100% sure that these are square. This cardboard that I get from a certain well-known jungle shopping place. So to try and minimize that, I'm going to do this. And then a reasonable distance in from here, because I know the edge of this ruler is square. I'd mark the line there. If you're having to do this, there's a nice little trick to making sure it's square. It's the 3-4-5 trick. One line you mark off 3 centimeters or 3 inches or whatever it is you're trying to work in. The next one you mark off 4 centimeters or 4 inches or 4 feet. Then the point where the ruler touches each of those little marks you've just made, from the 0 point, from your first point to your second point, will be exactly 5 centimeters in this case. And it is. So I know that that's square now. What was the measurement of it? It was 60, was it? Yep, 60. And then this one was 134. Where's 135? We'll go 135. 135 mil. 35 mil. If anybody wants these measurements, drop a message in the comments below and I'll respond as soon as I just don't leave any personal information in there, and I'm not going to phone you. I won't use your email. If you leave the email there, I'll just delete the comment. I'll upload it somewhere where everyone can view it. So right, let's put the center lines back in. Now, probably a little modeller's trick that a lot of people do, I presume, is if you've got markings on the chassis that you're already working on, and if you're going to be making multiple of that particular engine, and put your marks on. It's all going to be the same in the end. Mark those back, mark those front. And now that we know that we've got the back and the front, we can mark the spring positions on their appropriate sides. So that one would be there. And just as a double check, ensure that position lines up. 91 millimeters, 93. So one of them was out. So we'll go for 93. 93 there. 93 there. I'll mark that off as the springs line in a sec. Spring. Mark it as an S on the edges. Excuse me. There's 14 mil. 14 mil. if you watched episode 2 of the Wednesday workshop, you'd see that for the buffer beam, both beams, I used this middle insert cutout to make them. This time I've done it straight line. There's buffer beam 1 and 2. And remember, that's the waist, rear, front, get my blade. Now, I never normally have success using steel straight edge with a blade. Usually prefer to go freehand, but then there's times when it goes all wavy. It's like I'm all at sea. I'll do about 3 passes. This is 1.5mm card. See, point proved. Always goes in that last before anyone asks, why is he coughing so much? Not that anyone's going to ask. Because I've got a dry tickly throat. Not what you're all thinking. Because know how those minds work. Playground rules. Cough. No, not COVID. I really am going to have to invest in better lighting and better camera equipment. I'm just not letting the accounts department know. Until it's too late. And I know that I've said this every stream so far. There are more videos coming out. It's not just going to be me talking to a piece of cardboard. Or going criminally insane talking to myself. Right, put the buffer beams to one side. before I cut any further. Mark the spring location on there. That's in here. Let's have a quick measure of that. 9mm. We'll go 10mm to the rear. Move that 10mm. Ah. The new wheel position for the front wheel set is 9mm back. We did the same here. Was that side that was loose? I'll take these wheel off. Now that we know that we've got the original position and the new location for the wheels, we'll take off the one side, screw that on to that. Just so you don't lose your nuts, screw them back on. Not all the way. Right, do a little bit of figuring out on the chassis plates or frame plates. Now we've got the new measurements there and there. And we know already that this center line here is the appropriate height to get the engine off the rails. And let's see what this is going to look like if we move both sets in. Looking at that, there's a 18mm gap between them. Tire tread to tire tread. And 28 from there. 28mm from the front. Oh, excuse me. Let's try the positioning there with the new one. Yeah, we'll do it that way. 28mm from the edge to the wheel centers, both sides. Move them out of the way for now. Place Percy on top. Now, this is where you can be really finicky. Get your little measure out. 1mm. 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 Just eyeball it out. Get an equal distance down the sides without scratching your nice fresh paintwork. Mark off either side of the spring. And now you know that between there and there, and there and there, on there, that square there, and that tiny bit there is visible running board. Now you know you've got that much space minus the thickness of the metal to work with for the wheels. I'll put one of the wheels back on this one. Screw it on, just press finger tight. Now this isn't exact because you don't know the exact center, If you've got the mark still on there, just found that the flange, that face there on the flange next to the what's called the tyre of the wheel, that flange there fits on the line of what's going to be the cutout. So I can safely say now that where the springs are, if I extend those lines that way and that way, allowing for the thickness of the metal, that bit there now also becomes waste material. Waste. And then do the same on the other end, knowing that we're going to be coming in 28mm from one side, so we can use that. 28mm to wheel flange, not the flange. What are you going to like, you bloody idiot? You always find ways to work around. That becomes a 43mm. There's your center point from the running plate of the wheels. And take a measurement from there of 13mm either side. Extend that line from up here, which is where the front wheels are, and that would be their spacings, and they become waste. There are probably some of you out there going, what are you going to do with the bits that you used already? I put them in a tub, put them to one side. If I need small bits of card or to do other little projects, I've got some. If it's to do with practice, I've got some scraps then as well. Right, this has become a bit too blunt to work. Can never remember which way this goes. Here's a tip. If you use these type of blades, the plastic end cap comes off, snaps the blade nice and cleanly for you, What I've got is I've got a sharps bin. Fresh blade, minimum fuss. Perfect. So let's crack on. Told you in my channel introduction it'll be full of tips and tricks and changing the blade. Finally got around to doing it. Let's show you. As I was saying before, there are videos coming. It's just life has taken over and I've not been able to finish them at the minute. So there'll be one for Christmas tree to tree. Some scatters. Try all sorts out. And as this video was going out live, it's only a couple of weeks till Easter. Go to the local craft shops. Go to the local shops that are selling Easter eggs or Easter crafting. You can get some of that fake grass and things. I've got a load that I bought 2 years ago. And because I haven't had time to build a layout yet, I've not had time to show. So what I'll be doing is building a diorama in a larger scale. Not necessarily going to be O gauge, but as space permits, I'm going to be building an 8-foot by 2-foot sodor layout in N gauge. And whatever techniques I show you in the larger scales will scale down. I will tell you if they don't. Boom. So there's the new running board. It's Percy shoot. Definitely fit on snugly. What I'm going to do away from the camera is on the Ertls, on these larger ones at least, they've got the screw bolts, the screw holes, which held the plastic components to the die cast. And I've looked through my box of tricks and spare bits. I find 2 screws that'll fit there, a couple of washers for the spacing. Then I can attach the body firmly. Whenever I need to do some maintenance, 2 screws, off it comes. But unfortunately, for the night now, I'm going to have to call it early. Just had a message come through that I need to respond to as a matter of urgency for the family. They only interrupt me if it's something highly important. They'd know that I do these streams on a Wednesday, which is fair enough. So I'm going to have to go call that. So, if you're interested in coming up with suggestions or future projects, then yeah, no, I'm not as good as I sound, am I? Oh, forgot this. We're live for a sec. Yeah. If you want to make suggestions to what content you'd like to see on the channel, feel free, put a note in the comments. Find me on Twitter. My Twitter name is the same as what I'm using here on YouTube, Sodor Dan the Man. So, but check out the description below. There is a link there to my Ko-fi and my Patreon. I don't know which one is going to work out best. I'm still deciding on what the tier rewards are going to be. If you've got any helpful suggestions in that regard, let me know. Message me privately through Patreon or Ko-fi or in the comments below, and let's get the ball rolling. You will see there is a target there of £3,000. I think it's in the Patreon and the Ko-fi. That's to help the project develop further, and it's going to be used on the 8-foot by 2-foot Thomas Sodor layout, as well as help to make the videos and the content and the buildings for that layout, and to buy the rolling stock as and when they come in, because I don't think Bachmann would donate, not the N-gauge range, definitely. But I can but try and see what I can arrange with them. But they're not going to say yes to everyone who turns up, are they? So on that bombshell, it's time to end. Where have I heard that before? Good night.